Welcome to the BrightInsight Digital Health C-Suite series. I'm Jamie Burgess, Senior Vice President of Marketing at BrightInsight. Joining me today from the NASDAQ broadcast studio, live from the 42nd Annual JP Morgan Healthcare Conference, is Stephen Ranjan, Vice President of Digital Health at Roche's Personalized Healthcare Division. Stephen, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Jamie.
So let's start at the top. How do you define personalized care?
For me, fundamentally personalized healthcare is about, providing each individual patient with the right treatment based on their characteristics. And this can be either from a provider perspective, helping them find the right treatment using data, or from a patient's perspective, using their lifestyle and other comorbidities to really help them better manage their disease.
And how do you see AI or other digital health technologies playing into enabling that personalized care?
Absolutely. I think AI and digital health is continuing to play a key role in this space. We see it when it comes to patient identification or risk stratification, being able to look at patient data, especially the electronic health records data, and really identify the right patient, either for screening or potentially for patient selection for the medication. Similarly, on the disease management side, when you start to look at patient behavior and some of the data that they are collecting through their various digital health technologies that they're using, we're able to better support the patient once they're on the treatment. And for both of these, you need the AI technology to help anticipate or predict what's next best for that individual.
So let's switch gears a bit and talk about regulation and digital health. So congratulations, by the way, on the successful FDA registration of the MyVision Track app.
Yeah.
Can you share why clinical validation is so critical for software as a medical device?
This is a great question, and this is something that I think we have to be focusing a lot more, especially in the digital health space. Just like we do for pharmaceutical medications, where before that comes to the market, we're investing a lot in making sure the treatment is safe and efficacious for patients. In the same way, the digital health technology has to go through that same clinical validation. We have to make sure that the technology is having a very specific health outcome impact on patients. And this requires the validation. Right? And we need to actually learn from other areas like the pharmaceutical industry to help us continue to push. You probably read the Roche Health report that talked about only 20% of companies are investing in this type of clinical validation, and I think we need to keep investing here.
And so kind of double clicking, what other clinical standards or regulations do you think we'll see elevated in 2024 when it comes to digital health?
Yeah, I think the regulators are going to play a key role here. We're already seeing this in the US with the FDA, putting out a lot more guidance in terms of digital health technologies, whether it's in the clinical trial space or whether it comes to kind of working in conjunction with pharmaceutical products. And so I think we'll see greater clarity from a regulator standpoint. And I think that we'll continue to also see evolution in how we do the clinical validation, different types of techniques to take advantage of decentralized ways of collecting that data and generating the necessary clinical evidence.
So let's switch gears and talk about Roche and what you're working on. So how is Roche transforming beyond a traditional pharmaceutical development?
Yeah, I think for us, we look at this from an end-to-end perspective, right? So all the way from early discovery to going into the market. And we are looking at technologies that help us do better in the drug discovery and with target selection, but all the way through in the clinical development programs. And this is where our team tends to play a key role, is starting to kind of understand how does digital health technologies, whether that's an algorithm or digital health technology a patient is using, how does that help us drive better outcomes on behalf of the patient in combination with the molecule that we're investing in. And this is where Roche as an organization is continuing to kind of transform itself to be able to bring these validated products into the market.
What challenges do you come up against as a traditional biopharma company going through the transformation that you're describing?
The challenges are not dissimilar to any kind of change management that an organization goes through, right? So, I think some of it is just helping internal, stakeholders understand sort of the relevance of this new technology and how it fits. And so there's a lot of education and upskilling that we have to focus on internally. But, more importantly, as we think about clinical validation, we also have to think about how to adapt and evolve our own internal processes. Right? So we've got them well defined for the drug development process, but when you start to add in new technology, how do you balance the risk? How do you make sure that you're introducing this new technology at the right time? And this is where our group helps make sure that we're selecting the right technology at the right time of the clinical development program.
So the topic du jour, at least for it seems like the past year plus, is AI, generative AI. How is Roche thinking about and applying AI?
We're definitely actively involved in this space. We're continuing to kind of bring in the expertise, and we have strong expertise both on our pharmaceutical side as well as on our diagnostic side. One kind of tangible area where we see this helping us is especially in the drug discovery space, really looking at how do you use AI or generative AI to help us identify hard to find targets or how to tackle complex diseases. And this is where this new technology is helping us, and I believe it'll continue to reshape the industry moving forward.
How do you think, you've spoken a bit about this today, but where do you think the greatest impact will be for patients and improving their experiences and outcomes, to your point earlier, through digital health, AI, et cetera?
I think for me personally, and the reason why I'm committed in this space is because of the huge potential for improving patient outcomes. Previously, and you're aware of this, I worked in the diabetes space. And for me, the North Star from there is what we've seen in the space of type 1 diabetes and closed loop systems, where you have the drug, the device, and the software as a medical device all working together to help deliver better outcomes on behalf of the patients. And for me, it's this sort of integration of all these capabilities that we as Roche are kind of excited about. And I see this kind of expanding to other therapeutic areas, where at the end of the day, if we as an organization can find the way to put these together, patients are benefiting. They're having to think less of their disease and live their life. And that's what gives me excitement to continue to innovate in this space.
Great. I have, just as an anecdote, so my stepdad's a type 1 diabetic, now has connected blood glucose meter. The whole closed loop system that you're talking about absolutely has changed his life and my mom's life, because she's not thinking constantly, okay, how am I going to help him, manage
and that story that you're mentioning, right, that's what keeps me going, to figure out like, how do we do this in other areas? You're taking that burden off of that patient, their caregiver, because it is a huge stress on the individual and their family. And I think that's what we need to be focused on.
Amazing. Well, Stephen, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie. It's been a pleasure talking to you.